You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
All right, before we get going today, shout out Emprise Bank. As always, you can open an account with Emprise Bank in less than 5 minutes. The savings just start there, though. Emprise is a trusted partner with a variety of products and services to help you achieve your goals. Don't be tethered to a brick building. Start a meaningful relationship with a bank that has your best in mind. All right, boys, let's get into an episode that, we've had a lot of, I think if you look back to when we started this podcast, we probably said crazy things. We'd make lists of big names that we wanted to get on this podcast. Who were the guys? Who were the ones we were after? We got Sharon. People loved Sharon. We got Tyshawn. We got Keith Langford. We've had all those names, and I'm not putting any of those guys down, but to me, based on the last 10 years of Kansas basketball, Devonte Graham has been one of the most talked about people we've heard, where people say, you got to get the guy on the pod. We got to hear from this dude. One of the most liked Jayhawks of all time. He's finally here. The episode is finally here. We've got the legend, Devonte Graham, on Ain't No Seats podcast. Finally, Devonte, how's it going?
What's up? Hey, it's going good. Can't complain. Happy to be here. It's been, we've supposed to do this, but obviously Chris, he be messing up. He be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, Skinny, or Chris is pretty much like we call him the fourth member of Ain't No Seats. So it's like, we started this in 2019. Me and Chris have been friends since then. Like, this has been something we've been trying to make happen for probably 4 years, like just constantly picking at him a little bit, like, DT, where's DT, where's DT? So yeah, getting you on, he just said it, one of the most loved Jayhawks ever. Obviously your story is pretty wild. Everyone knows about your story. Appalachian State, you end up at Brewster with Donovan Mitchell and those guys. And then you end up at Kansas. I think you picked them over NC State. I forget who else, but I guess just go into talking about being recruited by Bill Self, and what stood out to you about KU.
Man, I remember the first time Coach Smith from Brewster had told me, like, Kansas is interested in you, and I was like, what? Like, couldn't believe it at first, you know what I'm saying? I remember Coach Roberts had came in, and he wasn't even there. I think he was there to watch Donovan, and obviously that day Donovan probably struggled, and I just happened to be, feeling, and I was talking trash, and so he asked like who's this kid? Like, and from there on, it was like, all right, well, Coach Self wanted to come see me. He wanted to come visit me. And once I had finally got released from App State, and I had sat down with Coach Self and the staff, it was just like, it was kind of like a bond immediately, bro. It was like he knew what to say to get me interested to come take a visit. And then when I was on the visit, it was just like family first. My mom fell in love with him. My sister was in love with the wives and their daughters. It was a perfect match. So it kind of just all clicked. You know what I'm saying?
So how we always ask this with guys, and it's pretty topical with what happened today with Hunter Dickinson and things like that. Bill Self just knows how he's one of the more likable people ever. He can walk in. That's what Keith Langford said, right? He can walk into a room and he's immediately the most likable guy in that room. But the funny part about it is Keith Langford then said, but the next thing you know, you're in a gym and he's calling you soft. He's calling you like all sorts of names. So like, what was your first experience of, you knew Bill Self was going to coach you hard, but was it a shock to you when you went from, hey, he's this super likable, cool guy, to you go into practice and he's on your ass?
It's the first meeting. What was it? We going to film room or whatever. Never seen this side of him, obviously. Put up, get stud, you're going to be, people gonna love you. Nothing like playing at Kansas, the tradition, that's not the third. Okay. And then we get into the meeting, and the first meeting, he's like, nobody cares what you did when you were at Brewster. Nobody cares when you were at high school. Everything starts at 0. You gotta work your ass off to get this and then that. And he pointed at Frank, and he's like, Frank, you gonna let this guy take your spot? You gonna let this guy take your minutes? And Frank looking at me like, heck no, like, oh, you're not taking my minutes. So it was from there, he let you know, like, everything you got from here on out has to be earned, like, and it's gonna be tough. So
yeah. Is that something you enjoyed? Like, is that something you embraced? I know there's obviously some recruits that they want to be promised playing time. They want to come in day one, play 40 minutes. So is that something you really embraced? I know you come in as a freshman. There's still Wayne Selden's still there. There's still a lot of talented guys, and you played decent amount freshman year. I know. So was that something you really took as a challenge, I guess?
Definitely. But also, once again, everything is different for everybody. Like, so I wasn't one of those guys who was McDonald's All-American, who had the whole hype behind his name, who was, promised to come in and start and stuff like that. So where I came from the bottom, so I've been on the teams where I don't play, where I had to grind to start, where I started, didn't start. Some summers I barely played on my AAU team. Like, so it was like I've already been through all this stuff till now. Like, I'm just here. I'm ready to compete now. Like Coach Self said, nobody's position is promised. Like, I can earn my minutes as a freshman, and that's all you really can ask for. You want to go in, you want to be able to play right away. Obviously, it was me and Frank as the point guard. So it was like, fight for your minutes. Let's do it.
Yeah. It felt like he liked you, though, like from the jump. I remember in your senior night speech, you were talking about how your freshman year, he was telling you to like yell at all like Perry and Jamari and all these guys. Like, what do you think that he saw in you that, like, as a freshman coming in, like not a super high recruit, that he put all this trust in you? And clearly we talk about guys like KJ Adams. Once Bill Self loves you, he loves you for the long haul. And, from that point on, you were in the starting lineup every night.
He's just seen the leadership in me, that I didn't really see in myself. Obviously being a freshman, I'm coming in, like you said, I got Ellis, Jamari Traylor, Wayne Selden, Kelly Oubre, Speed, Cliff Alexander, Brandon Green, Connor Franklin. Like, all of these guys is like McDonald's All-American, college All-Americans. Like, what am I going to say to them? Coming from, I'm supposed to be going to App State. Not right. Like, you want me to yell at Wayne Selden? Like, I'm not that. Not my first month on campus. Like, I can't die. So that was in boot camp when he was putting me in the position where the making me be the leader, and I had to kind of direct everything. And from there, it built my confidence.
So you brought up a name that we're getting a little off topic here, but I just got to bring it up, and you can not comment if you don't want. But did Brandon Green and Bill Self have like the greatest rivalry of any coach player that you saw in your time at Kansas? Because we love joking about how Brandon Green would get out of Bill Self's doghouse, and the next week he was right back in for some different reason. So I just had to bring that up.
PG.
It was a very, very strong love-hate relationship. Like,
are you sure there was love?
It was love. It was love. Because Coach Self wanted him to be so good. Like, because he was really
he could shoot it.
Yeah, he could shoot it like crazy. But, him and his attitude and how, so Coach Self, him and Coach Self butt heads. And Coach Self tell you, like that first meeting, he say, I'm here, you guys are over here. He said, I'm not meeting halfway, I'm not coming, I'm not taking one step. Y'all got to come all the way to me. So it's just some people who won't come all the way. They might get like right here, try to stop, then Coach Self done, it don't work out. So
yeah. So we talked a little bit about your freshman year. I think you battled injury a little bit, right? But you got solid minutes, and I think played probably was Wichita State game that year your best game of your freshman year, probably.
You had 20 in a game previously, but I just looked at stats too much today. But you had 20 in a game previously, and you had 17 in that Wichita State game. So,
but and that it was in the tournament.
Yeah.
So I think that was my best game. And like I said, Coach Self came up to me probably a week or two later. I was in the gym working out, and that's when he had kind of said, you should never not start another game here at Kansas so that right there, I think kind of motivated me even more, work hard in that summer. Like, okay, Coach Self think I should be starting. Now that I'm here, like, I can't let him down.
Yeah. So obviously, sophomore year, one of the most exciting games you've probably played in, but one of the most exciting college basketball games of all time. OU at the field house, 1-2, triple OT. Just one of the craziest, like I said, one of the most craziest games I've seen college basketball wise. So I guess talk to us about that night, and then I talk about Buddy Hield's performance and how legendary that was. I remember Bill saying Buddy would have had 60 if it wasn't for Frank, and he only had 46.
Yeah. Man, obviously the hype was all it lived up to be. Obviously going into the game, it was like, in one poll we was number one, and in the other poll they were number one. So it was just it lived up to all the hype. Buddy, it was like he couldn't miss. It was nobody. It didn't matter who was guarding him. It was like he couldn't miss. And obviously, you could say Frank stopped him or slowed him down, or I don't know what words you would use. Yeah, but Frank don't do his. He a little pit bull. He gonna knock, which I got him. I knock, let me get him. So, Frank on him, like, just go ahead, Frank, do your thing. And Frank obviously played huge and got them big steals. But nah, that's definitely my number one.
So just to follow up with that game, I guess let's touch on OU and Norman. I think you would probably agree, but coming out party for you just at KU, 27 points, 6 for 9 from 3. Buddy I think he was great again that game, and both games were obviously amazing. So I'm sure you're confident obviously as an athlete, but do you think that was kind of like I'm here moment for you at KU?
Oh, that definitely was. That was easily, like you said, my coming out game, and it kind of got my name buzzing, and that's when you start getting tweets about, is he going to the NBA? Is he gonna leave and stuff like that? But yeah, and I guarded Buddy that whole game. Coach Self always told me I got defensive all defensive team that year. I'm not even sure. He said it was just on that one game. He said you only played one game.
You didn't guard. Yeah, I guess there's a lot to talk about from that game. I don't know if you remember this tweet, but I'm pretty sure it was Doug Gottlieb. He said KU's not going to win games recruiting lower level D1 guys like Frank Mason and Devonte Graham. And I remember seeing that after the OU game. And then he said, Devonte, you just became like one of the most loved Jayhawks ever. Like that felt like the coming out party to the fans also. Like I remember you yapping to the bench saying like, I'm here. Like that game at Norman just felt like the start of Devonte Graham.
Yeah, it definitely was. Frank had fouled out that game too. And it was like a big momentum shift right then. And I remember telling him, like, hey, bro, I got it, bro. Like, I'm going to take business. And I think I scored probably like 12 or something after that, 10 or something after that. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that OU-KU little mini rivalry you guys had that season was obviously really fun. But I always think back, and we've even talked about this on this pod, that 2016 team, I think kind of gets like undervalued or forgotten about a little bit because 2017, which we'll get to, was just one of the more fun KU teams of all time. But like that 2016 team was the number 1 overall seed. Perry Ellis was playing at just an insanely high level. You and Frank, obviously, Wayne Selden was great that year. So like, do you feel that way? Do you feel that 2016 team kind of like doesn't get as much credit as they deserve? Like, do you feel like they competed with that 2017 team?
The 2017 team you're saying with like Josh Jackson and
yeah. So like, are they same level? I feel like 2017 gets more credit and talked about more, but 2016 was really good.
Yeah, we were definitely really good. I think we were more talented 2016, and we were bigger. 2017, that's when we started the whole 4 guard stuff.
4 NBA guys.
And that's when we, me, Josh, Speed.
Yeah. Frank.
Yeah.
And
Frank and Landon, right?
Landon
Lucas.
And LeGerald came off the bench.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we had great guard play. It was like Josh playing the 4 was kind of unfair because he's really a 2. So it's like you got to put your 4-man on him, but then that 2016 was definitely very talented. I love that team. That was one of my favorite years, to be honest. Obviously, except for going to the Final Four my senior year, that was one of my four of my bullet years. I think my sophomore year with that team.
That was like 2016 was so talented that like Diallo didn't play. Like Shaq Diallo, top 10, top 20 recruit.
Right.
But I feel like 2017, we always talk about 2017. Like that's probably our favorite team from the Bill Self era. And I think people think 2017 is better just because I think DT and Frank are so loved and they took their game to the next level. And then you have Josh, who was a top 5 pick. Svi, obviously, he's playing in the NBA and stuff like that. So we always talk about 2017, but I guess getting back to 2016, you guys beat Maryland in the Sweet 16. I think it was in Louisville at the Yum Center. But going into the Nova game, how did you guys feel? I know Nova had a ton of talent, guys like Jalen Brunson, Michael Bridges. So how did you guys feel as a group going into that Elite Eight game against Villanova?
We feel great. We always feel great. Coach Zoe, I mean, it's not like we going in like, oh, we don't think we can win the game. Like, we think we going to win every game. Yes, so we feel great. Obviously, you know, that little sore spot, that foul out there call.
It's the all-time screw job.
How many times do you legitimately think you fouled that game?
Probably twice.
Yeah, I've always like, is that though? Obviously, the one where I think they were trying to run a trap at the half court, tried to split the double team. You go for a loose ball. Yeah. Like, do you ever think about that play first off? And have you ever seen that called a foul?
Well, unfortunately, every March Madness, somebody sends me a grab a Twitter or something. And it's just like, I just can't believe that they called that a foul. Like
a loose ball.
I dove for it, and I think it was Josh Hart. Who did I? I don't know who
I think it was Josh Hart.
And I think I had a conversation with him when I was with the Pelicans.
Because I think KU, we were down 1 at the moment, right?
It was got off a call.
I think we're down 1. Yeah.
Down 1 with the ball. You get that. Obviously, it would have been a jump or KU ball. I think you actually got it off to Frank or something. So if the refs don't put it in their hands and just let you guys play, I know I'm probably making you mad right now, but it kills us too. I was at that game.
I love the quote, V-Turn, you saying, do you ever think about that play?
Well, I said as fans, it kills us. So I always wonder, like, from a player's perspective, and obviously
no, but on that 2016 team, I before we move on, I just gotta hear, like, Perry Ellis, you and Perry Ellis are like polar opposites to me, personality-wise, and just the way you played the game, kind of. Did it ever drive you? He was so talented, so good. Did it ever drive you insane that he couldn't be mean and he couldn't, like, or was there a mean side to Perry that we just didn't see? Perry was always so fascinating to me, but he was awesome.
You got what you mean, brother. It drove Coach Self nuts. Yeah. Self would be in practice just doing anything to poke Perry. Like, Perry missed a jump hook. Hey, Perry, down the back, run. Come back down. Perry doesn't go over, try to block a shot. Perry, down the back, run. Like, just doing anything to try to get Perry to get mad and say something. And he just wouldn't do it. Like, I didn't have a problem with it. Like, you average 25 and 10. I'm not I have no problem. So I'm just gonna throw you the ball. You give me an assist. You know what I'm saying? You didn't say too much. Just call him a silent killer, man. That's what he was. He would give you 25 and 13 and not say one word to you, and just go back to the locker room, sit on the good game.
He was a robot, man, but he was freaking good.
So you've never seen him really show emotion at all. Like, did you ever see him show emotion one time?
It was a couple times in game where he like had an end one, he was scream, but it would be like real quick. Like,
like he just turns it off.
Yeah, he just shut it down. I'm like, oh, you did you just catch yourself? Like, I can't show no emotion. Like,
his brain like stops him.
yeah.
Oh man, Perry.
Hey, man.
All right, we got to take a quick little break for an ad, and then we will be right back. We'll talk 2017 Kansas when we get back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
All right, so let's get on to 2017. We talked about it a little bit, but it's a topic that, I mean, it's weird, and I think it is because of you and Frank and Svi and your relationship with Svi, and Josh Jackson was such a big talent. LeGerald Vick was an athlete. Like, the team was just fun, and the team gets talked about still to this day more than some teams that have gone to like national title games and things like that. So where I want to start with that team is like Frank Mason that season was just insane. Like, shot 50% from three or something crazy like that. He National Player of the Year, 25-5 or whatever he ended up averaging. But like, did you see that coming? Like, in the offseason, did you see Frank Mason becoming the best player in the country?
I wouldn't say that. Like, obviously, Frank was good. Frank was always solid. But that year, he was just on a different level. It was like, sometimes it's like, just give Frank the ball and just everybody just go one. At one point, that's what we were doing at one point. Like, it get down to the shot clock. It's like, all right, Frank, go make a play. And he was making a play every single time, like against Duke in the Garden. That's pretty much what we gave Frank the ball, and we did like a little fake flare screen so everybody get low. He was like, all right, Frank, go make a play. So, like, it was just like time and time again, he just put us on his back and he was just carrying us. And it was like, he was just unstoppable. And he did it on both ends. It wasn't like he wasn't guarding. Like, he's guarding the best guard on the other team too. So he was.
I know, because at some point in 2017, I think Bill had kind of told Frank like to chill out a little bit. Like, he was living in the gym pretty much. Like, he wouldn't leave the gym. So was he just all off season? Was he constantly in the gym working?
Yeah, he was. He had a trainer. I forgot. I think it was Dick D basketball. If y'all know what that is, well, he was there. He was there every day, like in the gym every day. Usually, like, we had to do like this little get up 250 threes, make 250 NBA threes every day. And I think he was doing a whole nother full workout with that guy on top of that, with just finishes and just stuff around the rim and stuff like that. You can see it translated to that in that season.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, obviously we all loved Frank and he was solid his junior year, but like the step, I don't know if we've ever seen a guy just play to his absolute fullest potential. Like, Frank gave every single inch of what he could possibly give out there. So obviously incredible. On that season, the 2017 season, we got to talk about maybe one of the greatest games in Allen Fieldhouse history when you talk about it from a comebacks perspective. West Virginia, you guys are down 13 points with like Dick Vitale's on TV like, oh no, the crowd's leaving, like losing his mind. Yeah. Bob Huggins feeling good about it, finally going to get his first win in Allen Fieldhouse, and you guys just like stomped on their dreams. Take me back to that game. I know people always say, you believe you can come back. Did you actually believe you could come back that game?
Yeah, we did. That's the only reason we came back, because we could have. Yeah. But it was like, I think they had got off to a real hot start. I think they started out like 10-0 or something crazy. So we had already spotted them 10 points. Because Steph obviously going ballistic on us, like, y'all just gonna let them walk in here and kick our ass. So I'm like, man, like, we all looking at each other though, but we're like, yo, come on, like, pick it up. And then we get down, they make an ace layup, but then it's like something, you can see they were getting tired. And then we started hitting shots, getting fouls, and they kind of like, their eyes started to get big. We started pressing them, and they started turning the ball over, and we like, oh, I hit a three, Frank get fouled, he get two, I hit a three. Like, it's like, all right, we about to really come back. I remember the crowd leaving.
Yeah.
I was like,
that never happened.
Like, I was like, dang, we really losing this bad that they are leaving. Like, this is embarrassing. I'm kind of locked in, but I'm really thinking about tomorrow, coach is going to kill us. Like, this has probably never happened in Allen Fieldhouse history, like the most embarrassing team in the world. We're going to get it all. So,
yeah,
we probably walk in the gym and be no balls, but we went into a timeout and Coach Self was like, y'all, if you basically got two options, you're going to quit or you're gonna play into the horn end. Like, anything can happen. Like, just keep going. So that's what we did. We ended up forcing OT, and then OT,
I still proclaim that I don't even know what to call it. What, a behind the back step back after Carlton Bragg like fell on I don't know. It was a broken
in between the legs and back.
And look, I know T-Rob's block Allen Fieldhouse got loud. We've seen other loud moments, but I still, to this day, I was in the building. I swear it's one of the loudest moments in Allen Fieldhouse history. I don't know what it is about it, but that shot is just one of the most electric moments that crowd has ever seen.
It's funny. I think we broke that record that day too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure
yeah. Loudest indoor arena. So it all went hand in hand. It was probably definitely one of the loudest moments. Like, it was rocking in there for real.
Is that your favorite Fieldhouse moment? I mean, I guess you have triple overtime. We talked about that. Like, is there one we're forgetting, or are those two kind of the ones that stand out to you the most?
Bro, I mean, it's so many. Good night. You know what I'm saying? I think personally, like that comeback and the triple overtime ain't got to be. It's nothing.
Yeah, those are tough to compare.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Allen Fieldhouse as a whole, because we had Landon on here. We actually talked about that West Virginia game with him, and then just him watching KU games now from home. So I wanted to ask, like, did you ever feel like you guys would lose in that building? And then watching now, like, can you sense when KU's about to go on a run and come back and win at Allen?
You can, yes. And you definitely, like, from watching the game, like, first of all, I'll be standing like this close to the TV. I actually be like kind of nervous. Like, it's kind of weird because, like, when I'm playing, it's like no nerves, no like. But like watching the team and watching coaching them, I be sitting at the games like I be kind of like, oh, I be having the. Nah, you can definitely tell like when the crowd is about to go crazy, we're gonna go on the run. It's like we missing too many shots. Coach call a timeout. Or if they come out at halftime and you just know, like, from the jump, you're like, they're going to have different energy. Just because I've been in those situations, so I kind of, have this,
Yeah, I mean, so, obviously, 2017 team, great season. We're not going to get into Oregon. I promise we won't, because we're trying to stop ourselves from talking about that game. We talk about it too much, but the Purdue game on the other side of that, like, did you guys almost play too good against Purdue? And like
totally different opposite teams. Who'd have thought we was a whole different we played way too good. I don't know. I guess so.
I mean, were you convinced? I think we all were. Like, after that Purdue game, you guys were winning it all. I mean, LeGerald's doing 360s in like a 7-point game. Like, you guys were playing at a level that I don't think you had touched. And then we know what happened, but like, were you just convinced you guys were winning it all?
I mean, we knew we were good enough to win it all that year. Like you said, you just come out and you have one bad game, one bad half, and it's over. That's what March Madness is, man. You see it every year, literally. See it every year. But obviously, you don't think like from that Purdue game to the next game that we would have fallen off like that much. Like, and it being in KC was like more like heartbreaking. We just knew we had the road to the Final Four. It was no way. I think we had that before that. Were we at Creighton? Were we at
against Nova?
You guys had beaten Michigan State, right, in the second round?
Yeah, that was in Nebraska.
Yeah, because it was like the Miles Bridges, Frank Mason picture when he's in his face.
Yep. So, shout out to Miles Bridges. You know, that was my teammate.
Charlotte.
But yeah. And so we was like, we go to Nebraska. Obviously, all the fans there. We in KC, we can
Yeah.
played great the first game. Then the next game is sort of opposite, man. That would hurt too. I'm not gonna lie. That would really hurt. And I hadn't gone awful game. Like y'all probably know the stats, but
Braden, what was it?
I memorized all of them until the Oregon game because I didn't want to look at the box.
was it like 0 for something?
I think it was 0 for 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's all right. You know,
Yeah. All made up for it.
I'll be forever sad that Frank Mason didn't play in a Final Four.
Is it right? That's how I started this, bro, to get there. Like, out of all the teams that I played for, I would have never said that my senior year team would go to the Final Four, and none of those teams were forward.
Yeah. So before we get into your senior year, let's take another break.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
B-Turn, you kind of led us into it. But senior year, or you get up on your senior year, and obviously if you don't, I mean, the whole season, it kind of reminds me of the Hunter Dickinson situation that we just saw. Now, very different because you'd already been at Kansas, but it really felt like that offseason, the entire success of the next season hinged on whether or not you came back to Kansas or you went pro. And it was Self was very outspoken about wanting you back. I think he even made comments at the senior night the year before that he wanted you back. But obviously it had to be a hard decision for you. You're probably ready to make money at that point, try to see what you can get pro-wise. But, like, just talk us through that decision. How hard of a decision was that? Were you leaning one way, leaning the other way? What ultimately got you back to Kansas?
To be quite honest, I was never leaning towards going to the NBA.
Wow.
After the 0 for 8 game, and like, it was no doubt on my mind I was coming back. Like, I was like, obviously I'm a big KU guy. Everybody know I love Kansas. Everybody know, Coach Self always say people, if you cut them open or take it on. Like, I'm one of those guys. Like, I just love it. Yeah. So it was like, how could I leave in knowing that would be my last performance? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be your last known legacy at Kansas, 0 for 8. Like, nah, I can't quite like that. Like, no way. So for me, I had already known, but obviously you have to go through the process of.
I was gonna say, you kind of milked it and made us stress for a few weeks.
Wasn't me. But you have to see and search and get answers, see if NBA teams are interested, or if they want you, where you would want to, where they think you're going to be drafted and different stuff like that. So what they tell you, really, they give you a list of all the stuff they think you need to work on, and are you really a point guard? So all that I got all the feedback back. That's really what took so long. And then I was like, okay, well, it kind of fits what I need to do.
Yeah, so I think you yourself and just the team had a lot of motivational factors in 2018. I know Bill Self, he obviously knows what he's doing, but he called you guys soft multiple times. And I know during your senior speech, you mentioned something about how fans were saying you guys didn't deserve to wear the Kansas jersey. How motivated were you guys after that point, after hearing all that from Bill? And does Bill know what he's doing there when he calls you guys soft that many times?
Oh, he absolutely knows what he's doing when he, like I said, he trying to poke the bear and stuff like that, just to wake us up. Because going through boot camp, you already built for something bigger than yourself. You're not soft. A lot of people won't make it through boot camp. Like, most people won't make it through boot camp. Like, mentally, physically, is exhausting. So practices is like way harder than I think any game. Like,
Yeah.
Like Coach So make it so hard to where it's like it's so hard that it makes the game that much easier when we get into these situations. We gotta remember plays, and we're playing at Kentucky, and we're only up 2 or down 2, and we gotta get a game where it stops. Like we do all of those 1,000 times in practice, so it makes it easier. But he knows what he's doing. Obviously, like you see his record, you see the rings, you see the success, you see the the love that he gets from former players, and like it's just all so real. You know what I'm saying? So this sounds like.
Did you ever worry about Malik that season? Because I know he got like early in the year, it felt like he was taking a little bit to get used to just playing for Bill Self, and I feel like the fan base, the KU fan base, can be a little dramatic sometimes, and it felt like people doubted him early, and then obviously he got the last laugh easily and is now forever loved. But I mean, did you have that faith in Malik that whole season that he could reach? I mean, we saw the high school mixtapes. We knew he had it in him.
Yeah.
But did you see that coming at all?
That's my dog. Like me and Leak are like, to this day, obviously we still like really like that. So Leak struggled, and it was obvious like that he was struggling. Like I remember one day he called me. He just like it was like coach was getting on him. Like it's been like 2 months of just struggle. So he's struggling, and now you getting in the game, you can't make a shot, and coach is on you. So it's kind of like he's like, Tabor, I don't know what to do. Like it's like nothing I do is working. I'm getting those shots late. I'm trying. Coach is not. I'm like, bro, you just gotta play ball, bro. Like you know what you're doing, bro. Like you thinking too much. There's too much thinking going on. Just go out and hoop. But once he got to March Madness, it was like a whole different knob just twisted. So he was definitely the reason we got to where we got to with that Final Four run and stuff like that. So big props to League, man. Yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah, I've heard Bill was pretty tough on him. I know former players told me that I guess a guy that played at KU for a long time, probably like 8 years, told me that the toughest Bill has been on anyone he saw, and he was there for a decade, was Malik. So obviously it worked, and it was great to see Malik end up finishing his career here like that.
Yeah. Nah, he was definitely hard on League for sure. Sure.
So that season, you said it right. You guys, that was the team that got over the hump, got to the Final Four. But just talk me through that tournament run. The pressure that you guys had to have felt after losing back-to-back Elite Eights the 2 years before that we've already talked about. You're a 1 seed again, but it's not Oregon sitting on the other side of that other side of that bench. It's freaking Duke, who was massive that year. Just like I guess Bagley and Wendell Carter, 2 lottery picks, top 10 picks, just monsters. And you mentioned it. There's 4 guards on your team. So like, how much pressure did you feel? Obviously, I'm sure there was a lot, but also like, were you just confident you guys were going to get it done? Were you just kind of like, we're not losing 3 straight Elite Eight games. Yeah. We're going to make this happen.
It was all the emotions above, bro. Like I was super nervous because it's like I've seen this movie before. I've been here the last 2 years, and it's just like we can't get over the hump, and I'm just like, it's no way that we can lose again. Like for the fans, for me, like for Coach Sel, like just for everybody. Like I just remember telling my mom, like, bro, if we don't get over this hump this time, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it's gonna be so devastating. Like, but I was so worked up to make sure that we got there and got over it. Like I was just so anxious to play. Mind you, Duke is not I hate Duke. Like I grew up a Tar Heel fan, being from Raleigh, and then nobody in North Carolina recruited me. So it was like until late when NC State, but blah. Duke was like I always wanted to play against Duke and all of that, but everybody was just amped up to play in that game. And when Grayson shot that shot at the end of the buzzer, I swore, like slow motion. I just thought, not again, bro. Like, come on.
Your expression after that shot literally summed up every KU fan in the world.
I almost pulled out my hair.
Yeah, then
That would have been
the shot before and had the scariest look in the world on his face. Like, just locked in. Yeah, Steve hit the three and he had the like killer look on his face, and then that happens. It was around the rim forever. But yeah, you guys go into OT and Malik Newman scores every single point in overtime.
like
How many points did he score?
I think 13?
13 or 15.
32 in the game, right? But yeah, all of the overtime points.
Yeah, every point in overtime. That's what I'm saying. Leak made sure we got over that hump for sure.
So you guys, you obviously beat Duke, finally get to the Final Four. It'd been a couple of years. You lost a couple of Elite Eight games, but how we always ask former players that played in the Final Four, like what your feeling is when you get to the Final Four. How do you feel? Like, did you feel like it was happy to be there, finally got over the hump, and you're kind of fatigued and tired? You played a ton of minutes that year, or were you guys locked in?
No, we was locked in for sure. Obviously, you get that whole week to prepare and come down to San Antonio. It is a lot though. You get here and you gotta do a bunch of media, and it's fun though. Like Coach L makes sure you have fun with it, and you can't leave the hotel. You got the securities on the floor. Your family can only come see you then, and I'm not sure if we took phones or not. We might have taken phones or game systems or something like that, I believe, just because Coach you gotta get your rest. Like, it's a lot, and you don't want to be exhausted for the game. So, everybody was locked in. We were super, super excited to be here. Obviously, getting over that hump, but you locked in more than anything.
Is that one of those games? Sorry, is that one of those games where you're just like, what the fuck do we do? Like, score 80 points and somehow lose by double digits.
Yeah. I mean, they hit 14 threes in the first half or something like that. 13. Yeah. So it's just like
they're big men. We're stepping out hitting threes.
It's like at that point, it's like, what really can you do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes it's better to. I feel like it's better to lose like that to a team that is just very good than it is to like lose in a game like the Oregon game where you're better than Oregon. You guys just didn't play your A game.
Wasn't like we wasn't playing good, or like it was like we played well too. They just hit a lot more shots than we did.
Yeah. So I know you got to get out of here in a second. I wanted to. I have a few quick questions I wanted to ask, and I think AB, I might be stealing one of your questions, but me and AB talked about this a little bit. Does it make you sick? Now, obviously, you've made plenty of money now. I think you turned out okay, but like, does it make you sick thinking about how much money you could have made in the NIL era? Because AB, I think you were on record for saying DT would have broke records for NIL.
It would have been scary.
Coach Snow, when it first came out, he said that. He was like, like lucky. He was like, Devonte with most money out of anybody I've ever coached. I would have every NIL deal out.
Oh, your Instagram would have been just a full ad. I talk about this every time somebody bring up NIL. They ask me like, "Are you sick?" That like, obviously, thank God I've been able to still be able to play and make money. But being in college, like, how much money I see these guys are making, I'm like, whoa.
Grady made so much last year. It's insane.
Grady did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about that being 18 years old. You're making, I'm not going to say the exact number, but it's a lot of money. And you're going to the Hawk. Like, that's hilarious to think about the fact that you may have $500,000, $1 million coming in to your account that year. You're going to the Hawk. Like, that just cracked me up.
It is crazy.
I guess, yeah, your senior night, obviously just going back to that, I guess just talk about basically how emotional that was, your relationship with Bill, and then just how much KU fans in general and how much KU mean to you. Because obviously you show it still. You watch every game. You're on Instagram making stories, yelling at the players and stuff like that. So you still care that much. So just talk about KU as a whole and Bill Self and that senior night?
Obviously, without coaching them, obviously believing in me, the way I had never believed in myself before, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, like, as far as a player, as far as, saying a leader, just the way I think, just the way I carry myself, a lot of that has a lot to do with them. So, like, I thank them for that, like, very appreciative. And then, obviously, the fans, it's like unbelievable. Like, the support from day one to when I left was, second to none. Incredible support, which is why, people used to always be like, yo, you stop and you take every picture and you do this. And, like, you never seem to be mad. And, like, you at the Hawk and we got a line at the Hawk to take pictures. And I just watch you take a picture with every single person at the Hawk. Like, wow. Like, I'm like, bro, because, like, first of all, one day this is going to end. Like, people don't realize that you can say no, and then one day nobody gonna want to take a picture with you. Then you gonna miss that moment, like when you could have, when you would have, and you should have. But these people show me love every day. Like, I gotta show that same love back. Man, it ain't nothing but 2-4 seconds, take a picture, shake a hand, kiss a baby, whatever the case may be. And I just like to show that love back that everybody showed me over the years, and it was. Like I said, like, KU always gonna have, it's engraved in my heart, bro.
He's not lying. I remember my sophomore year, I was living in the towers, and somehow I got in contact with you, and I was like, my cousin loves you. He'd love an autograph on a shirt. You're like, yeah, just bring it down to my room. You got back to me the next day, gave me the shirt back, and it had every player and coach. Like, you had every player and coach sign the shirt. You're afraid. You're like, you've been there for like 4 months. I always thought that was super cool, but yeah, you saying all that. He's not lying. It's not just words.
Yeah. I used to joke, like, they'll be coming like, can I have an autograph? I'd be like, no. And then and I'd be like, I'm just playing.
All right. So this is my last question, but I wouldn't be able to let you go without asking it, because we could do a whole episode on you and Svi's relationship and Svi just being objectively hilarious. But my favorite Svi story, and I don't even know if you know this Svi story. I don't know if you were there or if it's even true, but my favorite Svi story is Scott Drew walking into a locker room after, like, NCAA tournament. You guys are sharing a location, and Scott Drew walks in and, like, kind of gives you a cheesy Scott Drew pump up. Like, come on, guys, go win for the Big 12. Svi's like a senior at this point, and when Scott Drew leaves, Svi turns to somebody. I think it was LaGerald Vick, and he goes, who was that guy? Is that true? Because it makes me laugh so hard every
times in his career.
Who told you this?
I don't know. I can't remember where we originally heard it.
I think it was my senior year, and I think it was media day.
Okay.
I think I remember something like that, but I don't want to think it's completely true, but I think because we was on the couch and we was just sitting there, like, playing all of this stuff. And he came by and said something, but obviously he got the little Baylor. I mean, yeah. And you couldn't, Svi didn't recognize him.
Okay.
Well, we can go for 2 more hours if we really want to, but we can, how about a part 2 someday?
What's up? Yeah, we can do that.
I'm going to and you'll be back in a few weeks for round ball, so I'm sure the fans are ready to see you. I guess thanks for coming on, but thanks for all the love you showed to KU and all that stuff. Like, KU fans obviously still talk about it. They know how much you love the university. So as fans, it's really cool seeing players still tap in with the team and all that stuff.
Yeah. You want to do a part 2? You gonna put this part out first and then do a part 2? Or you want to do put it together part?
No, we're gonna put this episode out next week, and then just we'll connect back again sometime. We'll do a part 2.
Live episode at Round Ball with Skinny Chris.
Yeah, we gotta get Cartesia on.
Please don't put him on.
Hey, yeah,
all the stories that don't need to be told.
Oh, he tried to before. Sharon told him to shut up one time. We just had like 5 seconds of doubt.
He's in the studio with us, and Sharon like paused at mid-sentence, and Chris was like, "Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say that."
Hey, yeah, but before we wrap up, we do got to shout out Cardisi, the all-time just plug to get us Devonte, Sharon. That guy has no limits with his connection. So shout out, fourth member of the Ain't No Seats podcast. But yes, thank you, Devonte. Like I said at the beginning, this is one fans have been asking for a while. This was really fun, and we appreciate your time. And good luck with, we didn't even get into your pro career or anything like that, but good luck with everything.
Part 2 coming soon.
Yep.
We get part 2 next week.
Hell yeah.
Let's get it on the books.
All right.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.